Shit, telling a motherfucker I'm from Venice is like telling them I'm God. Shit, I'm Jesus. It's hardly too many people that's from Venice. Venice is a lucky, like, city. Everybody say they from LA, they from LA. Venice is not part of LA.
You ever been to a city like Venice?
Nope.
Venice is the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
Have you been in any place like Venice, I should say?
No, there's no place like Venice in the world.
They still want to know, how you come from Venice? You black. We black out there. It gave me confidence. It made me hold my head up high.
Can you explain what feeling or vibe you get being born and raised in Venice?
I felt different than everybody. Like, I don't consider myself being from LA. You know, and people say that's the west of LA. Nah, Venice is its own entity, and it's a privilege.
The feeling that I get saying that I'm born and raised in Venice is first pride, because there's not a lot of people that can say that. Small community of people that can say that. It's difficult to explain now, but there's a conflict, because it's like born and raised and from Venice and still here. Yeah. That's the real unicorn.
We are the difference, the culture, the heart, the edge, the rawness. You know, it's just so real. It's like, it's such a life place to be. There's so much going on constantly, and it's entertaining.
For me, like, I've traveled all across the world, you know what I mean? And I'll say, hands down, there's no place I'd rather live. You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again, bro. Motherfuckers ask me where I live at the end of the rainbow. Take the 10 west, make a left. You at the end of the rainbow.
Can you explain what the city of Venice means to you?
I die for this shit, straight out. That's what they mean to me. I die for it.
No matter where I go, they know Venice. When people want to act like, what's Venice? Y'all know what Venice is. Y'all been to our beach. Y'all know the show lines. Let's not act. So no matter where I go, from the 90, 405 to the 5 to the 10 to here or there, I'm Venice.
Do you think because you're white, you had it easier or harder growing up in the hood? And tell me why.
I think that because I was white, I had it much easier growing up in the hood. And there are a couple reasons why. The first thing is, you know, we were talking about, have I ever gotten into any altercations, have I ever, you know, seen a gun? Yes, but you fuck with me, it's bad for business, you know what I mean? Yeah. You mess with the white kid, that's a whole different set of problems.
What would you say is so special about Venice?
The creativity, easily. The creativity over here, just everyone's on a different mindset. Like, you know, something is like still in the water to these days. Yeah. You know, you have, like I said, you have the artists, the skaters. Like, you have at least one of our friends are always, one of them like is a professional in one of these categories.
When you're from Venice, like, everybody wants to come to Venice. Everyone wants to be from Venice. You know, everybody wants the claim to fame, but it's like, nah, if we didn't grow up together, if you didn't know somebody or your family who grew up with your auntie's friend, and like, it's just that heart that draws people, like I said, and just keeps them wanting to come for more.
If you're not from Venice, you might not always understand, because you're like, oh, they live by the beach, but it was wild as hell. People that grew up here have something that other people don't have, because we have this like crazy violent history, yet there's so much art and good. But we're unique. We're unique to any other place in LA, for sure.
We went through is our families. In the Culver cities, they was more tough back then, you know what I'm saying? They was really coming. It was really like a real war. Like, you look on TV and you see Vietnam wars and the Full Metal Jackets, you know, all them wars, and it really was a war.
And can't no hood in LA say that they done been in a war by themselves amongst all the Mexican gangs. And we still hanging, we still around, and the Mexican mafia respect us? Come on, bruh.
Do you feel like crooked law enforcement was involved in it too?
Yeah, it was. They tried to wipe us off the map. But they couldn't do it.
Too strong?
Yeah. Too black. Too strong.
Your father was like, he was one of my OGs, so I'm watching him next door, and I'm watching the way he presented himself in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? Because like every gangbanger in the neighborhood had to respect him because he could whoop everybody's ass. You know what I mean? So you had to just respect that, you know what I mean? But then you go, but he don't gangbang. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like still all the gangbangers are like, yo, Big Stan, what's up?
Venice is LA County, but it's its own little city that needs to cut that chain okay? Because it's too much confusion. It's too many cooks in the kitchen. They don't even have the right recipe, and they got all the wrong ingredients. I miss that old Venice.
Venice in the 90s was the business. You couldn't come to Venice if you wasn't from Venice.
How did the police affect the change?
Gang injunction. Soon as they came out with the gang injunction, that's when everything changed. It felt like they had power over everybody because of the gang injunction.
Remember before crack hit the Venice neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
How was the neighborhood then?
It was beautiful. Like you had Melvin Hayward, you know how to say a village raised a child?
Yeah.
That's how it was out here. Everybody looked out for everybody. It was one big family.
I hated walking to places because I say, okay, I'm gonna walk down here off of 5th and go down to 7th. It takes so damn long because you gotta talk to everybody. Hey man, where your daddy at? Woo. So it's just like, so you get on the bike and put your head down and so you have to get in conversation. So you'll never have Venice like that again.
It's not the same. It's just not the same just because of the people who's not around. You go outside and you don't see people who you grew up with. You only see them on certain events or certain occasions. You don't go outside and see the same people that you grew up with. You go outside and see rich white people pretty much, or just white people in general. Like, there's no brown people in the community. They're pretty much gone. So I wouldn't say it's far from being the same.
Venice is different since I was a kid in a lot of ways. Mainly when I was growing up, it was really multicultural. Oakwood as a child, I was the only white kid for any radius. You go 5 blocks in any direction, I was it, you know? And when we were playing sports, I was very cognizant of the fact that I was the only white kid and what that meant, you know? And what it meant to be accepted in this community. Had, a few of my best friends growing up, yourself, DeAndre, I had a couple dudes that were Hispanic. It was all types of races and people in the neighborhood. And now it's really kind of become a Disneyland version of that. With gentrification, everybody has left. But it comes from just a systematic oppression, you know what I mean? If you don't own property or don't have the opportunity to own property, then obviously you're gonna get pushed out. You can't pay $4,000 a month for rent.
When you were coming up and everything, do you feel like you ever would have thought Venice would be like it is today?
Never in a million years.
Our properties, a lot of black-owned properties are getting taken. And I feel like that's not cool. As black men, we need to own property. We don't got a lot of, African Americans that own property in Venice like that. You feel me? I don't know a couple people.
Does your family own property in Venice?
My family does not own property in Venice.
No.
I will be the first one to own property in Venice, and quote me on that.
Do any of your family own property in Venice now?
Nope, which is a big mistake because now the property value has gone up and I just wish we could have kept that just for the sake to keep it in the family.
How many of the homies got houses in Venice? How many own property in Venice from your generation?
None, homie.
With all the money that people were making in the 80s off of crack and selling crack, the homies could have been homeowners?
What? They could have been homeowners 2 or 3 times. I'm gonna tell you, man, look, it's a place called Little Arkansas with apartments out on 5th and Broadway, 1002. Right behind them, there was some little triplexes, I guess you can call them. They called it Little Arkansas when we was growing up. They was selling for $150,000. The homies didn't want to go on. We were talking about the feds gonna get on us, all this other type of shit. I think Venice would have looked like, right now, Venice would have probably looked like a Baldwin Hills or Beverly Hills or some black Beverly Hills. This gang in LA called the Main Streets. They bought their neighborhood. They bought their neighborhood. They owned everything in there. Homes, churches, stores.
Cause we always fast living. We all thought the money was never gonna leave. It was so fast and it was so much of it. All the money we was making that dope game back in the day, if we knew it was going, man, we just wasn't smart. We just wasn't smart with it. That's all.
If y'all had been smart with it, would the Venice neighborhood still be black?
Hell yeah. Okay. We'd had everything. We'd have bought all this shit. You know what I'm saying?
It was a plotted plan. I'm gonna say it. With real estate developers involved, real estate agents, councilmen, police, a whole bunch of stuff. Because they thought they were doing the right thing. And I don't know what they thought they were doing, but they were cheating. Because you got a lot of people displaced who are not here. And that changed the whole fabric of this community, pardon self.
Why do you think they wanted to displace us?
Well, because they felt that it was too strong.
What are the vibes or feelings that you get from Venice now?
You see in the Terminator in the end when my nigga like he's about to die out? That's how I see it. You know what I mean? But here's the thing, it'd take a strong surge. But if everybody stayed in their lane the way that they need to, man, Venice can prosper. You know, and that's why I'm glad you're doing what you're doing with the information. We have a strong culture that can be jump-started, you know, and it's through information and through sharing and inventing and healing.
I think the heartbeat is still here because as long as we're here, our heart is going to be pumping strong and probably stronger than ever before because we know all we have is each other right now.
There ain't no place like this on earth, man. You know what I mean? Still, because Venice is inside of you. You know what I mean? And if you had them years in the 80s and all that and 70s and how the shit was, it'll never get up out of you. You know what I mean? So you can find some of that in pieces of Venice that you go through, especially this beach.
Say, you either die for something or you live for nothing. Today, I want to die for what I believe in. At least I know where I'm going.